Welcome back everybody for my 45th update video. This is where I go back to 10 past product reviews in order and take a look back at the original review and let you know if anything's changed since my original review was posted, because I do continue to use a lot of my products after reviewing them. The products in this video are numbers 441 through 450, which is September through November of 2022. So without further delay, let's get right to update number 45. First up, number 441 is the XTorch, which is a flashlight that was featured on Shark Tank. It's kind of a multi-function emergency flashlight. Let's see how my original review went. To use the flashlight, you press the power button once for the flashlight, a second time for the lantern, and a third time for the desk lantern. All right, here is the XTorch in flashlight mode. You can see how bright it is. Now this is high, and then there is low. Not a huge difference, high to low. Backlight on the right, the XTorch on the left. The XTorch is a much yellower looking light. Not amazing, but it's decent. All right, let's try the lantern mode and see how that works. I would say it's certainly functional. It does light up the entire area, maybe not as bright as the light bulb I usually have here. Now they say that it glows in the dark. Does it glow in the dark? It does glow, but that's not very bright. This is 650 lumens. This is up to 3,700. This one is 400. So what I wanted to do is discharge this completely, which I did. Put it out in the sun for an entire day and see how much of a charge I actually got. Place it right there with the solar panel facing the sun, and I'll adjust it throughout the day. It's now 7:30 a.m. Come back at the end of the day and see how it looks. And we got 2 bars. So they said 22 hours of fully charged, 9 hours gave me 2 bars, so I guess that sounds right. XTorch is floating, still works. In the end, I would say the XTorch does what it's supposed to do, but I would call it a slightly overpriced jack of all trades, master of none. Now, I do continue to use the XTorch because the battery holds the charge so well. To me, this works really well as an emergency flashlight, so I've kind of left it in the back of my car. Not only for an emergency flashlight, but also for an emergency power bank as well. So if you think of it as an emergency flashlight more than an everyday flashlight, it's probably a better deal. I also noticed the price now is more about 35 instead of 55, so to me, it's actually gotten better over time. Number 442 was a collection of items I picked up at Big Lots. It was kind of a wide variety of items, and let's flash back to the original review and see how that went. Here are the bags that I got at Big Lots yesterday. First up, it is the Lights All. Oh, it works. Just gonna stick it right there. And what do we got? All right, it definitely lights up the area pretty well. LED disco ball sound sensing. And we have light. It's actually flickering as I talk, which is, it's kind of cool. Let me put some music on and see if that affects it at all. It seems to affect it more slowly than when I talk. Translucent LED desktop mouse. That is kind of nice looking. It is a kind of a nice looking mouse. It's actually quite bright, looks pretty nice. I can see some people liking this. I'm not sure if it's for me, but I can see some people liking it. Laptop and tablet clip. And here it is. It's clipped on this way, and it seems to swivel that way. Having your phone right there is actually kind of handy. It does fit on this one barely. You could certainly argue the merits if something like that's needed. I kind of like it better on my desktop than my laptop, even though it's not really made for desktops. I kind of like having my phone sitting right there. Fur Daddy. Oh, we have a light and it's vibrating. It is vibrating. Can you hear this? Vibrating. I don't know if the vibration's doing much, but it does seem to be working pretty well. It does feel like I'm kind of having to press a little bit harder to get the same results as the Furwell. I mean, you still get it on around the roller and stuff here too. I think you're kind of paying for features that don't really help. They say it can handle leaks and tears, leaky pipes. It seems like it's holding, but it's almost kind of bubbling out a little bit. Oh, it's holding it. It's holding it. Oh, it's leaking. I'll just keep an eye on it, see what happens. All right, here we go. It's been 24 hours and it is still inflated. I'm very impressed. It is still holding. We have the strength is confirmed, watertight is confirmed, and airtight is confirmed, so I think the Alien Shield did pretty well. So perhaps unsurprisingly, the one I use out of that bunch the most is the Lights All, and it still works quite well. Now I moved it around from place to place until I found a good spot for it, which ended up being in my bathroom. Now I have a light in my bathroom, but when I go in there in the middle of the night, it's kind of bright. This one is a lot dimmer, which in that case works quite well. The battery lasts a long time, so for the price, I think the Lights All is a good product. All right, as a quick update on the Alien Shield, now I left this inflatable out in my backyard for over a year now. Through desert heat, through occasional sub-freezing temperature, I never re-inflated it. It's still inflated from when I did my video. And as you can see, it is held. There is the tape right there. So based on that experience, to me, the Alien Shield works quite well. Number 443 was the Casper Glow Light. This is what I'd probably call an overpriced nightlight. Let's first flash back to the original review and see how that went. Today I'm testing out the Casper Glow Light, which is advertised as a magical sleep light. Turning it over, it turns the unit on and begins the dimming process, which defaults to 45 minutes. Turning it over one more time, turns it off. When it's on, if you turn it counterclockwise, it gets dimmer. Clockwise, it gets brighter. How about a real world test? Let me start over again. Okay, that's off. We're gonna turn it back on by flipping it over, and it slowly gets brighter. Now, as soon as it gets to maximum brightness, it slowly dims over 45 minutes. You can set that to longer or shorter. This is kind of cool. You can actually turn it to dim it or turn it to brighten it. I'm gonna set a time lapse and let you see how this dims over a 45-minute period. It's not even illuminating the area where I'm standing here. I'm right above Bailey. I can't even see her hardly. There's Bailey. It's not very bright. I guess it's better than nothing, but I wish it was a little bit brighter. It's better than an alarm clock. It doesn't jolt you out of bed. It kind of just wakes you up like you would naturally wake up with the sunrise. So in that respect, I kind of like it. On the other hand, I'm perfectly content waking up to the actual sunrise. I don't need a fake sunrise to do that for me. I guess maybe if I was gonna wake up early. I think if it were, maybe about $100 cheaper, I'd probably recommend it, but as is, 130 bucks, I don't know about that. Well, the good news about the Casper Glow Light is that the price now is more like $90 to $95 instead of $130, so it's coming down in price. The bad news is that I tried using this one. I had it by my bed. I put it different places. It was never something I really reached for. The controls are kind of clunky and not real consistent. It still seems kind of expensive, so it's still not something I'd really recommend. Number 444 was a collection of phone holders I took down to California with me for a trip down there. It was kind of a wide variety of phone holders, and let's see how my original review went. Your phone kind of just sticks right in there. You have a little cutout for cables. This is a vent mount. It has one sliding arm that allows you to put your phone in there. This one can go on the windshield, the dash, and the vent. The iAudi, which can go on the dash or the windshield. I'm just gonna leave it there in place for a little bit, and hopefully it stays in place. Shoves right onto your vent. Oh, very easy, very easy. Stick it in there so it hooks over the vent. That's in place. And that looks pretty good. Feels pretty firm. Press hard. Gonna load up my car and hit the road. We got over 200 miles to go. And there it is, all 5 phone holders. So I'm gonna be rotating these around throughout my trip, so we'll see how it goes. The only one I'm worried about is the Andobel back here. It seemed a little bit shaky, but it has held, so I'm not too worried about it. You have to squeeze both those buttons, by the way, and then you can just put it in there and it snaps into place. This one, you just kind of push it over and pull it out. I like the way this one goes in and out. You just pull it out. Dash mount, that one goes in and out real easy. This one has a button on the side as well. Kind of stuck, but it's barely hanging on. Right now, I prefer the gravity method over this one. In fact, this is the one I'm driving around town. I keep using this over all of them. As long as you don't mind the fact that you can't go horizontal, this is a great choice. I would say they're all very nice, but the one I'm gonna go with is the Nope. They all worked well, but that is my favorite. I will say I continued to use the gravity vent mount until I got a new car earlier this year, and then I didn't move it over, so I don't really use any of them right now. I still think it was a good phone holder, although I don't currently use it. Number 445 was this interesting product called the CarryAround, which is a drink carrier which can carry up to 4 drinks at a time. Let's first flash back to my original review and see how that went. It's kind of an interesting gadget. It supposedly allows you to carry 4 drinks all at once. So you fold the handle out. For 4, you have to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, and then you got 4 there. They also have it set up for 3, so instead of going to the right, you go to the left. 1, 2. All right, so with the CarryAround, I can reach in my pocket, get my keys out. Got a free hand to open the front door. Even though the big one's a little bit heavy, I think it still works. If you set it down, just grab your drinks, not bad. It's working, but it seems like it's kind of bowing a little bit. Obviously, the cup size is gonna make a difference, but to me, I think the 20 ounces are more ideal. It's pretty simple, it serves a function, it's only 10 bucks. I actually like the CarryAround. Now, I will say I haven't had a lot of opportunities to really use something like this. I did take it to a hockey game once earlier this year, and it did work for those purposes. I'm just not sure I use it enough to justify having a separate device for something like this, although I do think that it does work. Number 446 was the Whirl Crisper, which is an as seen on TV product that supposedly turns any pan into an air fryer. So they claim. Let's take a look back at the original review and see how that went. This is the Whirl Crisper. It supposedly converts any pan into an air fryer. They say to line the pan with aluminum foil. Then we place the basket inside. And I'm gonna compare it to this actual air fryer. I've got my pan with exactly 36 French fries. Got this air fryer with exactly 36 French fries. The fan is turning in there, so that's a good sign. Doesn't seem like the Whirl Crisper is doing quite as well, but maybe it'll catch up at the end. They feel nice and crispy. That's good. Let's check the Whirl Crisper now. Still cold. It is still cold after 13 minutes. And the fan seems like it's slowing down. I'm throwing in the towel. It's at the 1 hour mark, but I mean, they looked almost done. Still not as done as the air fryer, which took 13 minutes. Let's see what happens. I got some chicken nuggets and some tater tots. All right, it's been exactly 12 minutes. They say most foods are done in 12 to 15 minutes, so let's see what we've got here. Removing the lid. They feel room temperature. This is warm, but it's not really that very crispy. This is not crispy at all. Starting to see a pattern here, and I don't like the pattern I'm seeing. They also don't show any of the pans lined with aluminum foil in their advertising, even though it's stated as a requirement in the instructions. Ironically, this lid with a fan and this cheap aluminum basket were the same price as the Dash air fryer that I tested yesterday that slaughtered this in a head-to-head competition. After 8 minutes, here are those out of the oven. They look nice. Let's check the Whirl Crisper now. This is 10 minutes. And look, the bottoms are getting brown, but the tops are not. It is not cooking them evenly. I'm just not a big fan of the Whirl Crisper, but I do feel like I gave it a fair shot. Needless to say, I did not continue to use this one, and it ended up on my worst of 2022 list. Now this one I've been seeing in the clearance aisle, so I'm not the only one who feels this way. So to me, this is one of those products that was a good idea, but poorly implemented. Number 447 was the Nicer Slicer, which is an interesting product that allows you to cut bread even thinner than it's already cut. I gave it a shot, and here's how that went. So it supposedly allows you to cut bread and other things in half to make them even thinner. These little protrusions that look almost like a cheese grater will hold the bread or other item in place. There's kind of a cutting block in the bottom. I'm just gonna kind of stick it in there like this. And it's crunching together. All right, well, it looks like a regular slice of bread, but look at this now. Whoa, it actually worked. Very nice. Wow, I'm a little bit impressed. I'm gonna try the untoasted bagel and see what happens. All right, here we go. It's kind of smashed. It's a bit smashed. Let's see what we got. And it's also not totally even. Here's a toasted one, and this is thinner, so it should squeeze together more easily. All right, and this one's much better. The thinner bagel side came out much better. I'm wondering about something like a sourdough bread. Now this is too big to even fit in my toaster, so I actually can't toast this one, at least not my toaster. I definitely don't feel optimistic about that one. Let's see, oh, I kind of mangled it. Oh no. Once again, it looks like a regular slice of bread, but you pull it out, pretty good. I mean, so depending on your situation, I think the Nicer Slicer works pretty well. Now, although I think that it worked well in my test for what it's supposed to do, not once in the last year did I reach for it. I think this is one of those products that just solves a problem that doesn't exist. So unfortunately, this one ended up in the boneyard. Number 448 was the LuminAID, which is kind of an inflatable lamp. It's kind of an interesting product, and here's how my test went. This is the LuminAID. It's a Shark Tank product. It's a solar-powered light that supposedly can be good for anything from camping, hiking, to emergencies, to decorations. The first thing you have to do is blow it up like a balloon. First click the button. This is red. It's supposed to last 9 to 11 hours and it looks nice and bright. See how well this brightens the entire room up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should be the white. It certainly provides enough light for my immediate area. It doesn't really light the entire room. It's certainly acceptable as an immediate light, although it doesn't really replace a lamp. Now it's a decoration. I guess I'm a little bit torn on that. Number one, it does look good, but only one of them doesn't really serve much of a decoration. You need a few of them. 3 of them will be almost $100. Right at the 5-hour mark. So it did last toward the upper end of the 3 to 5 hours. Oh, it does float. That's good. Is it taking on water? It is not. And my guess is this is probably gonna be better for something like camping or hiking or emergencies. Not as much for decorations, at 30 bucks a piece. I think you can find decorative lights a little bit cheaper. So this is one of those things that I never really found much of use for. So after about 6 months, I decided to just charge it up and do a longer term battery test. So it's been charged for 6 months, not used once since then. So let's see how the battery looks. Looks like we got about 3 bars in this one. So it lost 1 bar in 6 months. So as far as emergency light goes, that's actually not that bad. It's actually kind of dusty. I haven't used it that much. So it does seem like the battery holds up pretty well over time. So I would think this is a pretty good choice as an emergency light. Number 449 is the Ruby Space Triangles. These go over your hangers and supposedly increases your closet space, which I really didn't find to be the case for me. Let's first flash back to my original review and see how that went. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna load up these hangers with 18 shirts. I'm gonna see how wide it is. Pull out the Ruby triangles and see how wide it is with those. So take one shirt here, just kind of place the Ruby triangle over it like that, and then we can add the next hanger down here like this. So we've kind of got a 9x2 configuration here, 9 shirts attached to the pole and then 9 more shirts attached to those with the Ruby triangles. So up here, it looks like we've got space save at 7 inches. Let's go lower. Let me go down to the middle part here. Hey, I think we did save a little bit of space. 5, 10, 15, and only 3 on this one. So we got 18 total. So there's 3 there, 5 here, 5 here, and 5 there. Up here, it's a minuscule 4 inches. Down here in the thicker part, lower in the closet, it's still narrower than the original 11 to 12 inches. In this configuration, I don't think we gained anything. These space-saving hangers seem like they're wider apart now with the Ruby triangles as opposed to without them. For those of you who have a 15-foot tall closet, this would be perfect. So I do think there's some possible uses for them. I'm just not sure that saving space is one of them. All right, so over the last year, every time I see a hanger with a Ruby Space triangles on it, I avoid it because they're kind of a pain. This front clip here ends up a lot of times grabbing onto the hanger in front of it, so it just becomes more of a pain than anything. I didn't find that it really increased space that much, so to me, this is not a product I kept using. Number 450 was the Star Shower Ultra 9, which was the latest As Seen on TV offering in the Star Shower line of products. Now, both the Star Shower Motion and the Star Shower Ultra 9 are holiday laser lights. They can be projected on the side of your house. Both of them have a sensor, so they will turn off when it gets light and turn back on when it gets dark. The original Star Shower had a lawn stake and indoor base. This one just has a lawn stake. The original had a big button on top, which this one does not. We have 9 configurations, so we have red and green motion, red and green stopped, red and green blinking. Then we have just green motion, just green stopped, and just green blinking. The next up we have just red motion, just red stopped, just red blinking, and then we're off. So I think this is what most people are going to use, which looks an awful lot like the one they could have got 6 years ago. Star Shower 2016 on the left, the new Star Shower Ultra 9 on the right. All right, let's take a look what we got here now. I got the Star Shower Ultra 9 going right now. This is the first setting. All right, this is the original 2016 Star Shower, and really the width looks about the same, the pattern looks about the same. The new one is certainly brighter than the old one, I will say that. All right, and this is the Star Shower Ultra 9. Brand new, just out of the box today. But how do they compare? It looks like they're pretty similar. It's about 6 a.m. It is still going, and it's still shining on the house, although not quite as impressive when the sun's coming up. So these are pretty well made. If you're looking for something like this, I would definitely go with this one over the original. So what I decided to do was after the holidays, I let it keep running. It's been running nonstop since last year. It's been projected on my bedroom ceiling for the last year. So let's head back to my bedroom and see how it's held up. All right, there it is. It has been projected onto my ceiling every day for over a year now. The good news is that it works. So that's really the main thing. The bad news, and I think this is just because I stare at it every single night, I know notice it is that it kind of hiccups. It kind of stutters a little bit. Maybe it's just getting old or something, but as someone who stares at this every single night, I can tell you that it does hiccup on occasion, but overall it still works, and I'm happy with how long it's held up. Well, that's it for this bunch. Surprisingly, I think the one of this batch that I use the most would be the Lightsaw, because I use that one almost every night. I didn't think I was going to use that one so much, but you never know. I would say the worst of this bunch is probably the Whirl Crisper, but the Ruby Space Triangles are a close second. But that's all I've got. If you've tried any of these products, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'll be back in about another month with my next update video. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.